Good evening,
Oh, my
Drew.
goodness. That was a nice intro. I like that.
I don't know. I'm tired. I'm just throwing things against the wall. How you doing?
Oh, buddy. Whew, lot
Oof.
going on. Yeah,
Okay.
lot going
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Um, just a super busy week at work, man. Our
Yeah.
big data and AI summit is next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you. I bet you're putting AI in everything.
I mean, everybody else is. Why not us?
Exactly.
Speaking of which, are you following this like Windows recall thing?
A little bit. A little bit. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I really feel we are at a big like maybe we just need to calm down a little bit on the AI stuff.
Yeah. 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 Maybe just a little bit. For those of you not paying attention, Windows with their new Copilot Plus PCs,
Yeah.
is that what they're calling them?
Yeah,
There's
so
a feature called Windows Recall, which basically takes screenshots of your computer constantly, so you can search them.
so other
Yeah,
yeah, so the idea of creating basically a journal of everything you do on a computer. So the promise is, and this is not necessarily a new concept. I'm not exactly sure where AI comes into this, but let me hold my beer a second. But the whole idea
okay,
is that
okay, yeah,
I think everybody as a part of their job. I mean, even the coaches at the gym I go to have to use a computer for stuff.
they do.
And traditionally, if you've used computers, you create documents, you create emails, you watch YouTube videos, you do all this stuff. And we, again, traditionally have had tools to help us remember, to help us keep
Yeah,
track of things. We can pin emails, we can set web browser bookmarks, we can favorite YouTube videos. But the whole thing behind Windows Recall and the idea of like an actual journal of everything you do is it is a history of every single thing you do on the computer. So if a week from now I'm trying to remember, wow, I wonder what I told Paul or what I showed Paul on the podcast 2 weeks ago. The only thing I have right now are show notes or to go back and listen to the show.
yeah.
The idea
Hmm.
of something like a real journal is that it will basically record and capture every single thing you do on your computer. Now, think about that. Like, think of the
Hmm.
implications of that. Now,
Yeah,
I
it's significant. Yeah.
I haven't completely kept up with Windows Recall, but I think the big revelation here is, and I think there's two main things to keep in mind here, is that is going to take a screenshot of whatever is displayed on your monitor at any given time,
Hmm.
right? So like every
Yeah, yeah,
second or something
yeah.
like that. And I'm assuming that it is going to run it through some sort of computer vision or something that
It
will
is.
help
It is.
tag what it thinks was on the screen. So if I'm
Yeah,
trying to go back
yeah.
in my memory banks, right, from
There's also a developer story around this where applications can opt into it, and basically as Recall is taking a snapshot, they can provide additional metadata. A good example of this is PowerPoint. If Recall does its thing and you're looking at a PowerPoint slide, PowerPoint would say, "Oh, this is exactly this slide number 4 in this deck."
Mhm.
So to associate more metadata with it. Yeah, but it's looking for text and OCRing, and yeah, probably doing some computer vision to recognize what's on the screen. And yeah,
And that's really gross for a number of reasons. I would say
it can
probably
be. It can be. Yeah.
I would say that the most benign thing is it's keeping track of like if you log into your bank or if you log into your
Yeah.
medical, if you log in to like view a test result from like your hospital or
Or you're watching some spicy content on the
spicy
internet.
content, which you know what, I'm an adult. I have needs. I'm not afraid to talk about what I watch in spicy content. Like that to me is the least of my worries. If anybody looks at the things that I watch and wants to make a judgment on me, like it says more about you judging me than what I'm watching uh, on the spicy content that I watch. But you have to sort of go to the immediate worst case scenario is if this content is somehow compromised, right? And
Yeah,
like
right.
Microsoft
Yeah,
will tell
yeah.
you, and Microsoft is really good at this, is it's just encrypted, bro. Just trust us. Well, yeah, but like they're basically saying that it's all going to be secured with BitLocker, and I would argue that BitLocker is not the end all be all of encryption, um, because it is two-way encryption, right? Like if you have the key, you can get into it, right? It's basically just preventing somebody from yanking your hard drive.
Right, right.
And if all of this is truly going to go to the quote unquote cloud, it's out of your hands at this point. Like
Yeah.
I don't care, what sort of privacy things you agree to or don't agree to. Like if it leaves your physical device, like you don't control it anymore. Like that's just how this works now. Like we don't control the things that we previously owned before. And that should scare you.
Yeah. And plus, like, all this, like, security researchers looking into it and just saying this is an absolute nightmare. It doesn't make you feel the best.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft really wants you to guzzle AI. It's like they're giving you the tit and they want you to just suckle on up to it and consume, 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 consume. I mean, Microsoft has poured billions of dollars into trying to commoditize AI. It started with all this open AI stuff that they bought. They literally have thrown Copilot into like Notepad at this point. Like I don't know what doesn't have Copilot anymore. And like some of it's good. Like a good AI assistant to help you with a daily task is really important.
Yeah. I use Copilot branded AI just about every day for stuff.
Yep. Matter of fact, I did a cool exercise where, and I'm actually going to write a blog post about this, where I'm helping a customer today who is migrating from an on-premises data warehouse up to a cloud data warehouse. And as part of that, SQL as a language has an ANSI standard, but vendors love to bastardize SQL dialects. And
okay, yeah, I can see that.
we stray further and further from COD's light every day with SQL, I feel. But basically asking an AI assistant to translate one SQL dialect to another, find those proprietary functions or UDFs or code or line separators or terminators or whatever to be able to go from one SQL dialect to another. So basically taking something that can effectively crack open a stored proc, find each discrete statement, feed that statement to like a large language model or a code generator or some other mixture of experts model, and then return back the converted code, and then basically recombobulate all of that into a series of like SQL, like ANSI SQL statements that will run in the new cloud data warehouse. I mean, that kind of stuff, 100% all in for. I think that is like a perfect use case for stuff like that. But all this other stuff that we're throwing AI into these days, like I can't. Like your mouse has AI in it. Like
I finally got an option to turn that off. So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
There's hope. There's hope for us yet.
There's no more AI in my mouse, but dude, I don't know if you saw that, but the internet just like went absolute ape shit over that feature from Logitech.
Well, they should. Like there's no need for that. There's no need for that.
Yeah.
Now it will be interesting though to sort of like get out of AI corner here, because I feel like we're spiraling. But I mean, Apple hasn't. They have some event coming up where I think the speculation is
Dub.
Yeah,
Dub
is going to be, I think, their big AI announcement.
Monday.
Right?
It's Monday. Yeah, Dub on Monday.
Okay, so we'll talk about that next week. But I think the speculation is they're finally going to get on board.
Yeah, they're gonna nuzzle up to the AI teat.
Well, they have to, right?
They have to. Yeah, they're playing catch up. I mean, let's be honest. So they have to. Yeah, they have to do something.
Can I be honest though? I don't have a lot of faith. I don't. I mean, when you look at the era of voice assistants, which was kind of a precursor to a lot of this, right? Where it's like automation and natural language understanding. Like, you could argue if Google or Lady in the Tube did it better, but Apple's gal is It's
Yeah,
it's not
no,
it's not it, right?
no, it's not. No, no, no,
And I don't want
no.
to. I don't want to. I don't want to invoke her because there's a lot of Apple devices in this room, and I don't want them all to do anything. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. You need. Oh, you wanted me? Oof, that's rough. All right. Yeah, so let's that was a nice little deviation. So AI and
Hmm.
everything. All right.
Hmm.
Looks like we got a couple things to talk about. Go ahead and take us through it.
Hmm. So last episode, you mentioned you were watching the Newsroom.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I didn't do it that night, but like the next day, I sat down and I had some time, and I pulled out my iPad Pro and I opened up Max and I watched the first episode of the Newsroom.
It
And
grabs you, doesn't it?
I finished season 1.
Okay.
Yesterday. I've started the first episode of season 2, but really I've watched season 1, and it's real good, Drew.
It is.
You found a winner. It's real good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, so let's
real
talk
good.
about it. And I don't
Hmm.
necessarily know if we need like spoiler horn stuff here.
He says
Um,
moments before we start spoiling the show.
well, I mean,
That's what we do.
can
Drew.
we though? Like this
I
this
don't know.
show's almost 10 years old, right? I think it is 10 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Like can we just say that if something is that old? I mean, cuz I freely admit that I came to this late, but I don't necessarily think we would spoil this show for anybody that isn't going to watch it. I highly recommend if you haven't watched it to watch it, but
It's good.
I don't know if we need spoilers.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch it, just skip to the next chapter. If you're not, just listen.
Yeah.
Listen. Yeah.
So, tell me what you like about it.
Uh so Sorkin has this nice way of like I think one of his talents is taking world events and, in politics, it's a political show,
Yep.
right? But tying that into a show that is character driven and dramatic, and the interesting parts, the parts that get you aren't the politics, it's the people.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's very interesting that it's it says right in the title, the Newsroom. It's about a like nightly cable show with one of those hosts. There's half a zillion of them on television. Uh but they actually cover real world events.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few milestone events and things going on that they cover, and it drives the Newsroom. But really, it's the characters and the interaction between them is just, and it's good. Like, what do you think, Drew?
Well,
Like,
what I there were basically two dynamics in the show that I really came to appreciate from like a character perspective. The sort of interesting love triangle that develops with
yeah,
Jim and Doug and
Maggie,
yeah, Margaret.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't, and usually the like romance stories and things like this don't really grab me, but it's clear like the conflict that exists in all three of them as they sort of try to figure this out. I
Mm-hmm.
thought was very, very compelling in season 1. I thought that the best episode of season 1 was the Bin Laden episode.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
I mean, because I remember where I was when that happened. Like, I mean, just like I remember where I was in 9/11, and just like where I remember where I was for like the Challenger and like all that other stuff. Like, I remember just being at home, just I think it was like a Wednesday night or something. I don't even remember, but like the exact day. But I remember where I was, and like I was like laying on the couch watching Mad Men or something, and like surfing my phone and saw all these things, and then like you know actually hooked up my antenna because I didn't have cable and watched the news.
Wow.
And yeah, like I remember a lot of things about that night, and the way that episode is presented, and the way that the different characters find out, and like the team that's trapped on the plane still gets to do the news for the people on the
Mhm.
plane. Like, I just thought it was really good. And like Terry Crews, I didn't know that he was gonna make a cameo in that show as the bodyguard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I love him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
In multiple episodes, like just yeah, like
yeah, I
and
don't.
plays an important role.
He
There,
does.
like yeah,
He
yeah,
does.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and how can you not love Will, right? Like, how can you not love the main
yeah.
character, like, as, like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Yep.
flawed and determined as he is? You know, he's on a mission to civilize.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just very well written, very well delivered. Like you said, they wrap it around the current events that were happening at the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I have not
super good.
I
Yeah.
have not started season 2 yet, though.
Okay.
So I finished season 1 and I sort of hit pause on that because I had a couple other things that I needed to watch or pay attention to. So I'll probably start season 2 this weekend. And I don't have access to season 3 yet, so I gotta like that's part of the reason I slowed down is that I know I'm gonna like binge season 2 and I don't have access to season 3 yet, so I gotta.
I have heard from a reliable source that season 3 gets a little weird and not as good, but
I mean, it is only
I'm
3
here for it.
seasons.
Yeah.
It is only 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, good show, really good show, and I'm
Excellent.
glad you
Excellent
enjoyed
show.
it.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. Oh,
So now that I have successfully recommended something to you,
mm-hmm.
because it's been a minute.
Okay, it's yeah.
I just want to take this opportunity to maybe suggest that you watch The Wire in earnest.
Okay.
Um,
I'll have to give that another try.
Yep. And I don't know how far you made it when you tried to watch it before.
Not very.
Like, how many episodes do you think?
Three.
So
He says with confidence. No more than 3.
I would tell you that
You have to get past the first season.
no.
Ugh.
Like, how do I put this? So season 1, like, here's the thing about The Wire that I tell everybody who has never watched this going into it. Every single character that shows up on the screen is important. And in the first season alone, that show is going to throw 20 different characters at you that you sort of have to remember their name. And like for certain people, they have multiple names. Like they have like their Christian name and then they have like their street name. So you got to like reconcile that. And you really sort of have to pay attention to who they mainly interact with, because what you will see in that show is like you will have Griggs and Carver and Herc all kind of like in scenes together, and you'll have McNulty and Bunk in scenes together. You'll have Lance Reddick with, people together, and then McNulty will be in other scenes with other people. So what you'll see these little cliques sort of develop with these characters, and you got to keep track of who they're interacting with. And then where the show gets brilliant is when one of those characters enters the orbit of another character from another group. Like it is like this giant graph database of like, okay, I have this group over here working on this stuff. I got this group over here doing this. And then like just either by chance or however it kind of works, like they start to interact and then all the stories start to mesh together. And there's basically 2 points in the show that hooked me. Not that I'm saying this as a cautionary tale, but what I would tell you is that the episode that I realized I was hooked was in season 1, episode 10.
Okay.
I watched that one, and by the end of that episode, I realized that I was watching a TV show that I had never watched before. If you can make it to episode 10, because they do a really good job of setting everything up to that point, and then the show takes a very, very different turn. For multiple characters, for multiple reasons, I would say that you're in. Now, critics of The Wire will tell you that season 2, depending on who you talk to, is either the weakest or the second weakest season that they did.
Okay.
I happen to think it is the second weakest season that they did. But like once you get through season 1, season 2 introduces a whole new faction of people that you have to care about. But then once you get to season 3, everything that happened in season 1, even though you haven't heard about it for a while, plus all the things that happened in season 2, all get mixed together in season 3 about 4 or 5 episodes in. And at that point, you just need to hold on and watch how everything just kind of like culminates. Because like the first 3 seasons could be considered like an entire arc. Season 4 is kind of its own thing. And then season 5 kind of concludes some unresolved threads from season 4. So look, I think it's the best show that I've ever watched. And a show like The Newsroom comes along, or Breaking Bad, or The Sopranos, and like those are fantastic shows. I'm sure that some people feel this way about Game of Thrones. To me, like this is my Roman Empire. Like I love The Wire. I think it is the best show that's ever been on TV, and I know that it's hard to get into, but yeah, I think it's a phenomenal show. So I'm gonna again just restate to you, now that I have a successful recommendation to you, that you take the time to watch this.
Okay. I will try.
All right, what else you got for me?
I have a quick follow out, and if those of you aren't podcast nerds, follow out basically means recommending another show or commenting about another show. There's a podcast called Mac Power Users. I don't listen to every episode. I listen to maybe like 2 or 3 a year. They talk about Mac topics, obviously iOS, but mostly with the idea of like, hey, these are all like super Mac nerds trying to get the most out of their Mac. Power users. They have both the hosts on there have been using my beloved Arc browser for at least a month. And they do a really good podcast. It's about maybe a little over an hour, really deep diving into the features and what they like about it and what they don't like about it. And if you're a sick human being and you want to spend an hour of your life listening to 2 white men talking about a web browser, I highly recommend the show. The link will be in the show notes, but it's episode 747 of Mac Power Users.
Okay.
So go get it. Go get it.
Okay.
Oh, can I tell you one more thing? I just should put this on here. Okay, so the Arc search browser, which is the iOS browser, they have introduced a new feature. It's called Arc Call. Speaking of AI shit.
Okay, Arc Call.
Arc Call. So you launch Arc Search, and then instead of typing anything or doing like using your grubby little human thumbs to type a search query.
Oh no, don't tell me.
You put it up to your ear like you're going to make a phone call.
Oh no.
And then it's like, "Hi, I'm Arc Call. How can I help you?" And then you speak. And then it thinks for a bit, and then you can say something. Yeah,
it's voice to text and then NLP figuring out what you
want. Yes, you got it.
I hate it here. So, okay, hold on. I did not have going this deep an arc on my bingo card for tonight, but here we go, right? So I'm looking at the power users basically show links, and they have a bunch of links in here to Arc, right? And again, frequent listeners know to the show, this is Paul's hipster browser. I bounced off it. It's not for me.
Yep.
I'm a purist, I guess. I don't, whatever. A couple things. One, I notice now that there is a download for Windows.
Yes, there is a Windows 11 version. They're working on the Windows 10 version. It's almost feature complete, I think. But yeah, if you're on Windows, you can use Arc now. So on Windows 11, that's
what isn't feature complete about it?
I don't know. I don't use it. I use the Mac version.
Oh, okay.
I'm only tangentially aware of the Windows version because I read the change notes and I subscribe. I lurk in the Arc subreddit. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, because I know before that this started as a Mac project. I guess they need to They need to get the stickiness of the users. So of course, they're going to go
Yep.
cross-platform. So I
Yep.
totally get that.
Yeah. They're also going to start an Android version of Arc Search. So
Okay.
yeah.
So okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
I see the page here for Arc Max, which is everything you just talked about, like the AI infused stuff that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Totally cool with all that. Have they added new features other than Arc Call to this recently that they've like?
So there's some really interesting things you can do. In so like they brought some of like the browse for me features in Arc Search to the main browser. Uh, One of the things you can do now in the main Arc browser, so you hit Command T. In fact, I recently just used this. I did Command T to bring up the command palette, and I typed folder of reviews for this particular product I was looking into. Instead of hitting enter, you hit Command Enter, and it goes, oh, folder of, and it creates a new folder in the sidebar and scours the internet and finds what it thinks are the best articles on the internet that meet your criteria and just starts putting them in the folder for you, which is really kind of cool. It kind of just bypasses Google completely and just like find the 5 best of these and show them to me. And it's actually, I find that feature extremely helpful when you're searching for a topic, so or like a new topic. So I like that a lot.
Now, we talked about this when you first brought this curiosity to me. Boosts apparently are still a thing.
They are. I don't use them.
You don't use them at all?
No.
They're basically like customized. Is it charitable to call them basically customized CSS for certain websites?
Yes, that is adequate. In the podcast, they talk about some that they have tried. The one I remember is there's a boost for YouTube that removes shorts from the UI completely.
I wish I had that on my phone. Because it's the same clickbaity shit. It's like some like React video where they're like, this one made me fuck my dad, and it's just like I don't want to watch. I don't care, like, you know, or some women in a bikini trying to sell me something. I don't care about YouTube Shorts. So it basically just disables that entire section of the website. I mean, that's interesting. But you don't use any of these. I'm looking through here. LinkedIn, lowercase LinkedIn. What is that?
I don't use them. I don't know. Probably makes LinkedIn lowercase.
Lowercase.
Why wouldn't you want that?
LinkedIn clean, minimal LinkedIn. Like new dog every hour. GitHub.
Yeah, why not?
What is this? Slack? Who uses Slack in a web browser?
Monsters.
Yeah. I don't know about this, man. Like,
I don't use them. I don't use them. Okay. I have no need for boosts. I got enough features in my web browser.
Okay. And then integrations, bring your favorite tools in your favorite browser with Arc integrations, Google Calendar. Like what is that? Like basically, what does this do? Like what is this integrations thing?
So I think what they're talking about, like, so you can in Arc in the sidebar, you can pin up to 9 tabs per space. If those tabs are something it integrates with, like Google Calendar or Gmail, you get little features. Like I have 2 Gmail accounts that I use. I have both of them pinned as favorites. And if I hover over that little block, it will show me like, oh, you have this many unread emails, and here's like the first, like the beginning of the subject line for those, and kind of just a real quick, nice looking tooltip. So I can decide whether or not I actually want to click on it and go in. I don't use the Google Calendar stuff. They're doing some very interesting things with GitHub where it'll make if you go to a GitHub repo and start looking at pull requests, it can make a folder that automatically tracks pull requests on that repo, and you just always have a folder of all the open PRs in GitHub, which I imagine would be really useful if you're developing a browser as a team and using that browser. But yeah. Still no way to give them money, so we still have that problem.
Okay. Still no way to give them money.
No. Heck, Art, sell me a t-shirt. Sell me a t-shirt.
Mm.
Anything. Pint glass.
So,
Something.
late edition here, right? Since we've
Okay.
talked a lot about all these other AI features and things that are happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have made the decision that I am officially done with Google search.
Okay, what are you using now?
I don't know yet. Sell me
Okay.
on a search engine.
I still use Google.
I mean, like I have noticed recently that when I'm going to Google and like it could be the dumbest fucking search. Like I could go on there like when I was searching for Diablo 4 builds, or I was trying to find the hours of a gun store in Marion. Like I will get like basically above the fold is nothing but ad content now. And I know that like people are making a big old stink about like the AI summarization that is showing up on some pages that's really, really bad. Because I feel like Google's pretty bad at AI.
Google on pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you could totally store cockroaches in your penis. That's the one that threw me. Like someone had a screenshot of like your penis can hold like 9 cockroaches. Like, okay, it's a weird number, but whatever, AI. Anyway, I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done with Google because the search results, even when I don't get all that garbage, have been kind of poopy. I feel like I really need to get super down low to find stuff where it used to be it'd be 2 or 3 links deep, like tops, you know, from the top of the page on a search result. Like I just feel like their search results are just not as good as they used to be. People have realized how to game the system. Like SEO is totally a thing. There's a lot of like AI generated summarization websites that are like at the top of the result when the page I really want is like sometimes on the second page of the results, which like never happened for like decades. So I
have 2.
Okay.
Well, obviously there's DuckDuckGo. Okay, whatever.
That's where I'm leaning. Honestly.
There are 2 other. I don't have any experience with these outside of hearing people talking about these constantly. And the first is Kaji.
Kaji.
Kaji. This.
Oh,
this
that wasn't how I was going to spell that.
Whatever. Yeah. I got a link coming. G. There you go.
Oh dear.
There you go.
Kagi.
Whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Kagi.
This is a for money search engine.
Oh.
You sign up for it, but apparently everyone I've heard talk about it says this is what Google was before Google cared about ads.
Example search results. Best headphones. Okay. Artings is the first result. Okay, great. Okay. Got some Reddit results in there.
Yep. So
there's Marco's website. Oh, yeah. Okay.
There's no ads. It's very, very, very clean, but it does cost money.
How much are we talking about here?
Speaking of AI, I've also heard people using Perplexity as their search engine.
Perplexity.
So this is a from what I understand, it's one part search engine, one part large language model, but they're trying to keep it current on the internet. Keep like letting it crawl and letting it do things so the model keeps growing and the content it can look at keeps growing. And apparently it's pretty good, but then again, there's also a pro version that is smarter and has pro search, and again, you have to pay money for that. So it depends on how important this is to you, but I've heard good things about both of those.
So here's something interesting about this. So I just ask it like, what are the top rated headphones? And it obviously does the summation in the form of a large like language model doing content generation, but it cites its sources.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
The sources that it sourced it from though are Walmart and then Verizon and then Mercari.
Yeah, well,
Best Buy, eBay. Ugh. This Kagi, whatever the hell this is. I like that they got a little doggo for the mascot. Okay, they get me. $5 a month, you get. Whoa, hold on, buddy. 300 searches a month for $5. I both of my middle fingers are up. That's like that
Oh,
seems like a luxury that
well, how? Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I know, like, you have
yeah.
to, like, pay for compute and crawl the web, and I get it. Bandwidth isn't
Yeah,
free,
yeah.
but
And they're not showing you ads, and they want to make a profit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
enough
get it.
searches to get you started. Brother, you don't know how often I search. Unlimited access to Fast GPT and Universal Summary. So for $10 a month, the family plan, $14 a month for unlimited searches. Oh, they got a little lady dog. And then they got a little dogs, like little family dogs, for $20 a month. That's wild. That's wild that there's a paid search engine.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Capitalism, baby.
I guess. I mean, I'm leaning DuckDuckGo. I mean,
Yeah.
Bing's kind of garbo.
I've played around with DuckDuckGo. Uh, I just felt like enough times using DuckDuckGo was like, I'm not seeing what I would expect, and then I go to Google and find exactly what I want. I'm just like, God, I should just keep using Google. I mean, you do have to do more work now to get to actual content, but I don't know.
I don't know either, my friend. I don't know either. Yeah, it's just like it's just bad. Like, I and I know that, like, there was a blog post, and I don't have it ready. I got to go find it. But apparently, like, if you go into, like, your modern web browsers and you set your search URL to be like a specific Google URL, you won't get all that garbage. Like, it'll just go it'll like omit stuff. Like, it's a hack, but it isn't. Like, instead of like www.google.com, it's like question mark, and then like a bunch of other like URL parameters will get you to like a more generic search. But that just like reeks of effort. I don't want to have to go through all that to get it to work. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a hard time with change sometimes.
Change is difficult.
Yep. Okay. Last topic of the night. This week the new Destiny expansion launched.
Your space shooty mans.
Space Shooting Mans. Basically two quick things about this. One, I haven't finished the main story yet. I think I am on the final mission of the main story.
Okay.
It's real good. It's real good. After the big old stinker that was Lightfall, this one's really good. I would say that this is just as good as the Taken King from Destiny 1, which was the most beloved expansion from Destiny 1. I really liked Beyond Light. Some people like the Witch Queen better when you're looking at expansions for Destiny 2. This one's every bit as good. They definitely listened to player feedback and, stuff that they didn't like about the last expansion. There is a lot of content. Like, once you get through the main story, there is a lot to do. It really ties a nice little bow around the story that Destiny's been trying to tell for the past 10 years, which is like crazy that it's taken them 10 years to tell this story arc. Where Destiny goes from here, I think, is anybody's guess. They have this new seasonal model that they're coming out with.
Ask you, what's next?
So they're doing something interesting. Previously, what Destiny would do is they would do little seasons in between major expansions. These seasons would run from 2 to 3 months. They would kind of drip feed you a story. They would release a new story beat every week that you could do. They didn't necessarily release new content during this time, but it would give you something to log in and do. Now they're moving to a different type of format. They are calling it basically acts. They're calling actually episodes. So basically, they're going to release these acts every like 40 days. So like right now, with the launch of the expansion, they've released Act 1 of the new seasonal model. In 40 days, Act 2 will release, and then in 80 days, Act 3 will release. So like this entire content that they positioned with the story, it's really interesting. The way that they have shaped this story, they want you to complete the campaign before you do anything else. Anytime you go try to do anything else, it's like, hey, you should really go finish this story first. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So like right now, so it launched on Tuesday. Everybody is sort of there's some people that like mainlined it and got through it like in a day.
Yeah.
My playtime's been a little more limited this week, so it's taken me, till now to get to like the final mission of the campaign. What's going to be interesting is tomorrow, and they do this every time they launch a major expansion. Tomorrow they will release the new raid. There will be teams competing to see who can complete it first. And once somebody, doesn't matter who, once somebody completes the raid tomorrow, the rest of the seasonal content will open up. So, like the player community is going to determine, and somebody will beat the raid tomorrow, I'm sure. It will open it up, and then we will finally be able to start the act 1 of this episode. So, like, Act 1 is there. All like the places to go do it are there, but you can't actually do anything yet until we conclude everything tomorrow. And what's also interesting is with each season, there's a season pass, right? There's the poverty plan, which lets you unlock stuff, and if you pay extra, you get extra unlocks, kind of like what Diablo does, right?
Yeah.
What's interesting about this is that right now, when I go to the season pass screen, I can go all the way to level 200 on the season pass. Like you can view what is in level 200. The first 100 levels of the season pass, which you get by playing, is available in Act 1. Levels 101 to 150 are available when Act 2 launches, and then 150 to 200 will be when Act 3 launches.
Giving you a little carrot to come back.
But what's interesting is you can scroll through and you could see the potential rewards, but some of them have question marks. So there might be a little surprises in there, right? Might be a few little surprises in there to discover whenever they release it.
Okay.
The story so far has been very good. I really like the level design. It's very, very trippy, just because of all the things that are happening and where you are. A little bit like mind bendy. But it's been very, very good. Now, I will say that launch day was rough. A lot of people, I don't think they anticipated how many people were coming back to Destiny for this expansion. They had a lot of launch day problems, but like live service games, I don't think anybody's ever gotten it right. That's just kind of table stakes for these things.
Yeah, either you over purchase or you under purchase, and neither one of them's public, the other one's less public, but still not as good. Yeah.
So they had some launch day woes, but what was really frustrating about it is because this is a game that requires a persistent connection. What people were discovering was there were basically two main things that pissed people off, and I would have been pissed too. Is you would complete a mission and a really important cutscene would play, and then it would just like stop and boot you out of the game because you lost your connection. And then the only way to rewatch that cutscene was to replay the mission. So some people have put some of the things on YouTube so you can get caught up if it happens to you. It didn't happen to me. But the other thing that was happening to players was if you were grouped up with people, it may not track your progress successfully.
That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah,
bad.
So I've been playing it myself, playing it at my own pace, which I like playing this game with my friends a lot. But I've been playing it myself and working my way through the story at my own pace on the higher difficulty, which has been challenging. So just because I want to try to avoid some of those problems. Now, I haven't personally had any problems other than like on launch day, I couldn't log in for a little bit, but just because everything was busy. My experience has been generally positive. There's a lot of people who were upset at launch day. I think most of those issues have been ironed out. But it's a really good time to come back to Destiny. It's a really, really good time to come back to Destiny right now. Just saying.
I'm too busy killing demons.
Did you finish your season pass?
Yes, I did. I did.
Nice.
My main seasonal character is at level 99.
Wow.
I could be at 100, but I was like, ooh, I want to start a new character, so I started a rogue, and got him to like. I think I played today, and I'm at level 25 or 26. Just another 10 more levels, and I can probably do season 3. And I mean, World Tier 3.
Really?
Very excited.
That's how fast you jump to it, huh?
If you know what you're doing and you spend some time like looking at your gear, making sure you have the right aspects and tempering, Yeah, you could do it that
even
early.
even before you get like to Paragon levels and unlock all your character points.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're much better at that game than me.
Oh, it's this practice, Drew. I spent a lot of time in that game. That's probably what I'm going to do tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday, and a lot of Diablo in the future for me. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, short and sweet. I like that.
Yeah,
that's an episode.
Yeah. You can find everything about the show online, show notes, social links, contact information, all that wonderful stuff at doingtheirbest.com. And hey, thanks for listening.